Have you ever done something that really got you thinking? The other day I did something that has really put a lot of thought in me about helping out others. And that is the fact that I put up a bird feeder and put some bird seed in it, just some wild bird seed. And to bring the wild birds back in and let them feel a little more welcome, because now I got a lot of chicks out here and a lot of other stuff out here that I want them to be able to have an easy, free source of food to be able to eat themselves. And I've come to realize they are very picky birds in reality with how they eat and what they consume, but the chickens are not. So it's a very fascinating situation that I've put myself together, that I've noticed that these birds, the wild ones, come and they pick and choose. So they throw a whole lot of feed away and they throw it on the ground. Once it's on the ground, I don't know what it is about them, but they just won't eat it. But I do notice something, that the chickens come and they greatly appreciate them for knocking all that food down, because they're just like, hey, cool. It's just rain and feed out here for them. And it's such an interesting system that I've seen, because this is something that we as human beings really need to adapt and adopt into our own lives to be able to better ourselves as well. My name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr., and I was born July 4th, 1986. Today is a fascinating day because it's another day to be able to talk about something that we all need to figure out how to be able to get better with. And then getting better with is figuring out how to be able to make sure that we're sharing what it is that we have with each other, as opposed to just thinking that it's all mine and I'm not going to give anything to anybody. I just keep living this life and keep realizing that the more and more that I was living this life of just wanting to have just for my own self and wanting just me and mine and don't care about you and yours, I realized that I was headed down a very lonely, very depressed, very anxious, very separated feeling way of being, as opposed to feeling like I was doing and being and amongst others. That I had it in me with just the idea that I was taking from everybody, and that made me just seem like everybody was out here for me to just use in a way. And just take from you so that I can have some more. Even if it's not a monetary thing, it could just be some information. It could be a skill set. It could be anything. That I wasn't looking out for in a way of how can I help you, but how can I help my own self? And then as soon as I'm done with getting the information from you that I see that I've capped out, now I just don't care about you anymore. I wonder how many other people are living such a way as that. That I had to recognize that about myself and realize that I had to get away from that. That's such a horrible way to be, because it just is only going to isolate you. Because then the more and more times that you talk to more and more people, you're not going to be able to keep them around for long enough, because they're just going to, you're going to get what you need from them every time. And then you're just going to abandon them. And that can set you up on a very, very lonely thing. That it's weird today to me, because I don't feel like I know like, and I see like, and understand like. That's just what's being force-fed to us every day with what it is that we're consuming on a minute-by-minute base in our telephones and on our news and all our media and everything that's being shoved to on our movies, TV shows. Everything that's being showed to us is the concept of that, of taking so that you can get, and realizing that once you get what you get, you move on to the next to get more of what you can get, as opposed to just really putting in some solid just compassion to one another. Some solid just let me learn more and more and more. Let me share with what I know and just really try to be able to communicate with each other more. As opposed to just thinking that every single person out here is just something for you to be able to get. There's something that, I don't know what it is, but this is I'm going to say a very, very, just my opinion, Mark Anthony DuBose Jr., of a system, a business system and a business idea and what is it called? The marketing MLM selling. When you have something that you're trying to sell to somebody, and you're not really looking into that person as a way of, I really like you, I really appreciate you, and I know that this system is going to be able to help you out. We're looking at it in a way as, I need to make money. So I'm going to say things that I should be saying. I'm going to do things that I probably shouldn't be doing. I'm going to convince you of some stuff that this product is probably not going to be able to do to you. And I'm going to make this sale because I need to be able to move forward with my life. Knowing that the person that you're selling this stuff to, you're just damaging them and destroying them. Somebody would say, hey, Mark, that's called capitalism. And I'm going to say, we have a bigger problem with that than just that simple term and that simple way of life. That capitalism, I'm going to still say, is a 100% amazing way to be able to live. It's a monopolization of the capitalism that's absolutely destroying us as a human being. Because we have it in us that only a few are going to be able to just have and control and consume it all. And the remainder of us have to just deal with what it is that they want to be able to push out and be able to make happen. And then that's where we run into the situation that we don't have enough. And when we don't have enough, we can get sucked into these systems that convince us to have to fight over each other to be able to just make it alive. And that's something that I heard a very interesting video the other day of this guy talking about how socialism is going to be the way. And I'm still going to say that I don't believe that. We've been there, done that. We need something new. We need something that we haven't done. We need something that's different. And that's where I want to talk about the main thing I want to talk about today, and that's our children. Why are we trying to force our children to do what it is that we do? Why are we trying to force our children as if we even know what's best for them, when in reality, we don't even know what's best for our own selves? Why are we trying to teach our children to do things that we've done when they don't live in the same life, in the same livelihood at all, in any way that we live today? They do and experience stuff that we've never, ever had to experience in this life, especially a person of me at my age as opposed to my parents. I lived in an age where I grew up with watching everything transform, from the computer systems becoming more of a personal system for us to be in our homes, the introduction of the internet, the introduction of everything that started, and now I'm here. I didn't grow up in a life that my parents ever even experienced and ever even thought could be possible. And then I could say the same today with my children and the children that are of the age of where my children are. That they did not live and do not live in a world that I ever lived in. I lived in the world where it was getting started. I still had cassette tapes. I remember the day that we upgraded that now we could record on both sides. I was fascinated. I was just blown away, like, wow, I could double up my media now. Whereas today, we live with everything is streamed, that you no longer need to have a digital asset anymore. You could just get it on moment's notice, anything that you want. They do not live in the same world that we lived in. And since they don't live in that same world, they have to do things in a completely different way. They no longer have to spend weeks, years, decades to research and learn about things, where the information is instantly there for them. They don't need to go anywhere to even figure out how to find more information on what it is they're looking for. The information is there instantly to them. So why would we be trying to teach our kids to do what it is that we did when they don't need to do such a thing anymore? Why would we be forcing ourselves, to everyone my age, born in the 80s, born in the 90s, born in the 70s, to do what we did in the 40s, 50s, 30s, and the 20s. We no longer work that way. We no longer have to function that way. We no longer are struggling to be able to figure out how to be able to get basic things done today. We're able to do things in a very, very fast-tracked way. So why is it that generation after generation, we're trying to force our children to do the same things that we have done, to only see that when we get to the place that we're at, we're still not happy and we're still not satisfied because we're being told to do the same stuff? We need to completely break away from this. We need to completely understand that the children have a very, very good understanding of knowing what it is that they want and what it is that they don't want. And we need to listen to them a little bit more about what it is that they're needing and preferring to be able to want to pursue on this planet. That we just shut them up and shut them down, just tell them, you don't know, you're just a little kid, and you can't possibly understand it. When they're the ones that are living, they're the ones that are seeing it. They're the ones that are studying us, realizing, like, this is why I'm going to say that I know for a fact. I don't care what anything has to say, but I know for a fact of why people don't believe in any sort of Jesus, any sort of God, any sort of anything anymore. Because the kids watch the parents, and the parents are not satisfied. The parents are not loving. The parents are not compassionate. The parents don't have any self-control. The parents are quick to anger. The parents are just living in frustration. So the kid is going to say, I ain't going to believe in that. Why would I believe in that when I see how crazy and erratic my parents are being? When I see that they're stressed and they're struggling and they're not getting what they need to get anymore? Why would they follow that? Why would they think that that would be the way, knowing that that's what's going to lead them into that? Why wouldn't you allow them, show them, give them, teach them something that is not of what we're doing, that is destroying us? If you're not happy, why would you teach your kid to do the same thing? If you're having in yourself that you think that this would make you happy, why would you force your kid to do such a thing, knowing that they already have something inside of them that they enjoy and they want to be about and they want to do? And that's what, for me, a big change that I see that we need to do is to go maybe way to 100 times harder into making sure that, I would say something that we had as children, that at least I had as children, that I didn't grow up in some fancy location, in some fancy area with some fancy houses that had a crazy amount of taxes to be able to make a fancy school. I lived in a basic place, and we had basic things for us to be able to do and basic things to be able to understand. And then that started to get stripped away because of who knows why. People thought that they knew better, that these jobs and these tasks and these creative things are not going to be able to give you what it is that you need in the future. And something that we need to change and do more with our school system is allowing our children to be more creative with who it is and what they are. Allow them to draw more. Allow them to paint more. Allow them to sew more. Allow them to cook more. Allow them to play with wood. Allow them to play with mechanics. Allow them to build some things. Allow them to create stuff. Allow them to keep doing that and push and focus more and more of that upon to them, to allow them to figure out what it is that they want to do. Let the child figure out what they want to do, and let them be able to mold the world that they want to be able to be in. Not the world that we see that we're in, that we're already just feeling behind all the time. Why would you want to set your kid up for that exact same thing, as opposed to setting your kid up for do what you need to do and you want to do and you want to pursue, so that you can be able to have what it is that you want to be able to have? And I understand a parent is going to say, hey, that's risky, that's scary. But that's the risk and that's the scare upon your own self. That's not the risk on the child. The child doesn't see it as risk. The child doesn't see it as scared. The child sees it as excitement, like this is amazing and I can pursue this and make this happen. As long as a child still has and maintains and continues to keep having that same passion, that's what's going to come to them. That's what they're going to see. That's what they're going to experience. They're not going to experience problems. They're not going to experience tragedy. They're going to experience amazing, wonderful things on this planet. It's something that I don't know what it is that we like to keep doing, thinking that because they've done it this way for so long that that's the way that it's going to keep on working. That is not the case. Because they did things in the 20s where people in the 30s and the 40s today are trying to tell us, young guys today, how to live and how to be because it was the way that they did it and they were able to figure it out. We don't live in the same world anymore. We're moving so much faster today that you can't just say that what you did is going to work for us. The only thing that's going to work for us is us collectively looking at each other saying, this is actually a more better way for us to be able to be. This is actually a way for us to be able to figure out how to be able to make stuff happen for us. It's for us to figure it out ourselves, not for us to think that some system or some entity out there is going to be able to give it to us. There's no government that's going to make our lives better. It's only going to destroy us the more and more they get into us. It's there for a specific thing, to uphold the amendments. That's it. It doesn't need to be in our school. It doesn't need to be in our work. It doesn't need to be in any of that. It only needs to be in where it needs to be. And it's us as a society, as a people, that we should be able to get along with each other ourselves to figure out how to be able to get what it is that we need from each other. We really need to figure out how to get more and more of what everyone is wanting and pushing harder for today, government and police and military, out of what it is that we're doing on a day-to-day business. We're allowing and putting in more tragic, more chaos, as opposed to just allowing more peace and more relaxation and more calmness, more self-control, more compassion, more loving. And the main thing is we need to start being able to figure out how to love each other. We need to figure out how to be able to love each other by showing our children that and allowing our children to be able to be such a thing, to do such a thing. The schools are so focused on trying to push whatever we want, what we think is cool, what we think is fun, what we think is great. And we're trying to push that because we think that that's going to be able to bring the best out of them, as opposed to allowing them to just do what it is that they do. Be the way that they want to be. Grow up the way that they want to grow up. See what it is that they want to see. If they want to sing, then let them sing. If they want to draw, then let them draw. If they want to be a professional athlete, then let them figure out how to be able to become a professional athlete and share to them with all of these things. You got to be dedicated with what you're doing. You can't just show up one day and not show up the next day. You got to be very, very consistent with what you do. That's the stuff and the things that we really should be teaching our kids is consistency, is being there, is getting it done, is making it happen. And that's something that is just mistranslated today. And it's something that is so mistranslated today that some of us are not able to do what we do because some people think and have it in them that they just know it all and have it on and they're end all be all. And that's not the case with us. It's the child that needs to make the decision of what it is that they want to do and where it is that they want to go. It's not for us to force it upon them. How many of us that are in our 30s today have had our parents say, this is what you got to do? And if you didn't do it, they pretty much like rejected you from life. They rejected you out. They're like, no, you're supposed to do this. And since you didn't do that, I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to provide anything to you. I'm not going to do anything for you because that's the route that you want to go. You want to go that way? Then figure it out. As opposed to like helping them get into that. Supporting them and doing what they want to do and showing them that what they want to do, it is risky compared to what they have seen in their life. It is risky. It is scary. It is a little like, I'm not sure, I don't know. But that's just what everything on this planet and everything in this life is all about. There's no guarantee with anything. I know so many people that have such fancy degrees behind them that they thought that they were going to go to school and get this, and they were going to be set up that are jobless right now, that are begging for, can I just make $100 this week? That are just preying upon that. But yet they have such fancy degrees that was pushed upon us and pushed to you that said, you need this and you have to have this or you're not going to be able to survive. Whereas there's other people that have, I see them all around out here. I see the people that are doing the best of the best today. And those are the people that are using their hands and have, in reality, no major education behind them on doing what they're doing. They're doing the construction out here. They're doing the electrical out here. They're doing the plumbing out here. They're doing the landscaping out here. They're doing the roofing out here. They're doing the building new houses. They're constructing and come up with the designs of the new houses. They're doing all of these things. They're building the power stations. They're building and putting up the wiring to make sure that we have power. They're putting the roads in together. They're making sure that our cars are good to go. They're doing all of these jobs that these are the people that are buying all the fancy new vehicles. These are the people that are buying all the houses that no one can afford anymore. These are the people that are still going. But yet, we were told as a people that that's not going to be able to bring the level of success that you need. And we're kind of forcing, not kind of, we are forcing our children to just don't do that. Don't be in that. That's not going to bring anything to you. You need to go and do this, and that's going to be able to give it to you. And how many of us are struggling today? How many of us are struggling today with loans from schools that you've gone to that you can't even afford anymore? That you know for a fact you're not buying no house, you're not buying a decent car, you're not eating decent food because you got $2,000 a month for the next 10 to 20 years to pay to a school that's not giving you a job to even be able to support yourself, to even be able to pay that, to be able to live on your own. We're trying to force our kids to do such a thing that is just, it is not right. It is not right in a way of allowing them to explain to us what it is that they need. And sometimes that's what we need to do. We need to figure out how to be able to pick and choose. And the way that it's these Cardinals out here that are super picky with their food. That the Cardinals are like us as parents. We want to pick through it all and find the one good thing. And then all the crumbs that fall down, that's the children. They're like, I'm happy with anything, man. I'll take this, I'll take this, I'll take this, I'll take that, I'll take that. They're just super excited to just gobble it all up. They don't look at it as waste. They don't look at it as leftovers. They look at it as the world's greatest thing. They only see it as nastiness when we, as a parent, want to put upon them as no longer. See, you shouldn't do that. See, you got to get away from that. See, you got to get off of that. See, that's stupid. See, that's not going to bring anything to you. But even though there's something else out here that's like, this is amazing. And that's what we need to allow our children to be able to see and be able to have on this planet, is to know that what someone else thinks is crumbs, what someone else thinks is trash, what someone else thinks is just worthless garbage, someone else thinks is the most absolute, amazing, beautiful, just wonderful thing on this planet. That they're just hoping to be able to have the opportunity for that to just fall down to them again. Because they're like, wow, I can't believe you would get rid of this and you just give it to me for absolutely nothing. That's what our children are. They're a blank slate to be able to just accept that, knowing that the things that you don't want, that they do want. Stop trying to force them that is no good, that they need to do that instead, because that's going to give them the success that they're looking for. When none of us know. None of us as parents, generation going down after generation to going after generation. All we're getting is less and less and less and more and less and less. More and more people today that no longer there was a time in the day that a one parent income was able to take care of a household. And then it turned into a 2-parent. Now it's turning into a 2.5, almost a 3-parent, is able to take care of just one household with 2, and don't even have 3 kids, because oh my goodness, you're definitely not going to be able to afford anything today with the way that things are going. And it's very, very unfortunate that that's the life that we live. That's what we're a part of. That's what we're in. Where we need to get back to the understanding of knowing that one is enough to take care of the whole thing. 1 is enough to be able to live and be able to have a nice life. 2 is enough to be able to make sure that you're securing something exponential in the future for your grandkids and great-grandkids and great-great-great-great-grandkids, knowing that you can be the one to be able to set some things up. But we're not headed that way. We're headed a way of realizing that everything that we've been taught, everything that we've been, in a way, force-fed, is actually setting us up for a mass level of failure. That we're not getting what it is that we were told. We're not getting what it is that we're promised. We're not getting any of that. All we're getting is more and more complications, more and more issues where there's no longer the positions required and needed that we were going to these schools to do. There's no more positions for it. There's no more need for it. There's no more want for it. There's no more desire for it. And then when things happen where they just want to and can just shut some things down because of some unfortunate circumstances, then that just puts even more and more people into a jam. It puts you further and further down, because now you really have nothing, because everything that you were doing, because as weird as it is, majority of the stuff in the school is leisure. It's extra. It's not something that needs to be done. As when they did the whole shutdown, it's essential businesses only. A lot of that work is not essential. What is essential is making sure that our houses are getting built. What is essential is making sure that our roads are being built. What is essential is making sure that we're able to educate some people and be able to get people, transport people, be able to do things like that. That's essential. But everything that we've been going to school for and been doing for, it's not considered essential. So it was just at a standstill. And that can happen again at any moment's notice on all of the people around here. And that can put us even into a further and further jam, because we are fed some information of, if you do this, you're going to be good to go, and everything is going to be easy for you. You got a bachelor's in this, you're going to be able to make $1 million extra in your life. You got a master's in this, you're going to be able to make $2 million extra in life. But when I look around and I talk to people, I don't see it happening that way. I see people that actually have those degrees are actually doing worse off than the people that don't. And that's a very interesting situation that's going on today because we weren't listening to the children. We were listening to what the parents had to say. If we were listening to what the children have to say, I'm telling you, we would be in a whole different situation today because the kids would be doing what it is that they want to be doing, and they'll be able to pursue what they want to pursue. And when they're doing that, they're going to be able to have what it is that they want to be able to have because they're going to be in control of it. That we need to make a little bit of a change going on in our future here with making sure that we're understanding and listening to the children, what it is that they need, because this is the world that we're trying to create for them. We don't want to create the world for them. They're trying to create the world for us because they're trying to create the world for what's going to come next. If we want to just destroy it, don't allow that same mentality to go on to the future to come. Allow the future to come to make a decision. We want it to be better. So let's listen to what they have to say and figure out what it is that we can do to be able to help them create the better world that they're actually looking for. And listen to what it is that's going on because they're the ones that are watching all day long. They're the ones that are really studying us all day long. Us as parents, we're in such survival mode that we're not paying attention to things that are going on. The children are, especially a teenage child today. They're paying very, very close attention to everything that's happening. And they're the ones that are really going to be able to figure out how to be able to change what it is that we need to change to be able to make the world to be a better place that it needs to be. And with that, I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for the understanding of knowing that us as the older and older we get, we act like we just know more and more and more. But also at the same time, the beauty, but the downfall behind that is we run out of what it is that we think that we know because times change so much that we are no longer in a position to actually say that what we had was great and what we know is better because we're not able to keep up with it. Things change so fast today. We don't live the same life. The child that I would have today is not going to live anywhere near the same life that I lived when I was born in the 80s. It's not going to see the same world at all. Not of the same experience at all. I grew up in a time when people looked at me and they looked strange at me because I was a strange color because they knew there's something weird about me because they knew that one of my parents was white and one of my parents must have been black. And I was treated in such a negative way because of that in the 80s. And now today, we don't really have that anymore. My child would never see that. My child would never ever see the same type of life that I had to live. My child would never have to see and know that when we got into a car, there were no seat belts, there were no airbags, there was no map. You had a map, you had a physical map. They don't live a life like that. They live a life where the whole car is airbagged up to the point that almost to the most majority of these cars today are driving themselves. That they no longer need to study a map to figure out where they're going. They can just put it on their mobile phone and just hit go, let's go. And the map will tell you, turn here, turn at this stop sign and turn at that stop light. We don't live the same worlds. We're moving so fast today that we need to really understand that and really kind of appreciate that a little bit more. Because there's something about the fact of trying to force our children to do what it is that we did is only going to damage this world. It's going to destroy it because they're not going to be able to do it. They're just like, Mom, I understand that it took you 10 years to figure out how to do this math problem, but I could just look at this and just type it and it's done. It's right there. Why would we force that child to have to figure out how to do it for the 10 years when it's already there? It's already done. Let's allow them to grow into something that is just going to be able to teach them how to be able to actually change the world, do something great for the world, make something happen for the world, push them into their talents, push them into their passions, push them into what it is that they really enjoy doing, as opposed to just force them away from it to teach them some things that we think is going to be best for them, as opposed to what they know is going to be best for them. Thank you.